Okay, this tutorial is called Fixing Mistakes. Now, if you look at the screen very carefully, you'll see that I made a mistake. I have a piece here, my fourth piece of my puzzle. I put this block in the wrong place. This block should be, I wanted it to be right here. So now pay very close attention because you're going to learn a very powerful part of this program. And it's not just how to fix mistakes, but also how to make changes in assembly files. Okay, you'll notice over here on the browser bar that all of my pieces are there. I've got assembly 1, which is this first one that I made down here. Assembly 2 is this one here. Remember, we did that in the very beginning of the puzzle piece. There's 1 and 2. Now, you didn't see me make 3 or 4, but I did. I made 3 and 4. And on piece number 4, well, first of all, you'll notice that whenever I click on the piece over here in the puzzle or in the assembly, it shows up on the browser bar. There's piece 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll also notice that when I click on the plus sign next to one of the parts, it shows me all of the individual parts that make up that subassembly. You see that? So there are the individual blocks within assembly number 4 that make it up. It also shows you the constraints that are on each of the parts. See that? Now, if you make a mistake, for example, right here, I made this mistake on this block. Now, I can't just select this block and start working on it in this view. What I need to do is I need to double click on the subassembly, and watch what happens when I do. I double click it and it becomes visible and everything else in the assembly dims out. You see that? What that does, you'll notice over here that the assembly or the part in the assembly that I'm working on becomes the active window. And up here, you'll notice, well, you can't tell the difference now because I'm still in an assembly file. But if this were an individual part, for example, if I click on this block here, I double click it, now I'm working only within the block of that particular part. Isn't that interesting? And up here on the ribbon, you can see now that I'm in the part mode. To get out of any particular mode that you're in, you right click and you say Finish Edit, which brings me out of editing the part, and now I'm in my subassembly, and if I right click Finish Edit again, I'm now back to my block puzzle. I can't finish edit again because I'm not editing. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to get rid of this block, actually move this block down here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to double click on this subassembly. I'm going to select the block in the subassembly that's not in the right place, and I'm going to delete these 3 constraints. I'm just going to right click delete, right click delete, right click delete. And what that does for me, it frees up this block. And I want to put it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and constrain it now properly with the mate constraint here. Rotate my part around so I can see what I got going on. And constrain that there. Rotate it again. Make sure I apply it. Then 2 flush constraints. Flush constraint the side and flush constraint the top. And now the part that was in error is now in the proper place, and I can finish my edit, and now my block puzzle is proper, and I have one more piece to put in. That's how you make changes to individual pieces in an assembly. Double click it, and then go into the parts, remove the constraints, and then reconstrain it or put it back in there. Let's say you wanted to add a block to this. This block had, let's see, how many? This block has 6 pieces. Let's say that I want to add one more block right here. I'm allowed to do that, right? Because I can have 7 pieces in my puzzle. So I'm going to go ahead and double click it again. And now I'm going to go ahead and insert or place a block. Another block. And I'll go ahead and constrain that. Mate constraint, mate constraint. That puts it in place. And then 2 flush constraints. Flush it here and flush the side. And voila, you'll see that now I've got this piece that has 7 different pieces. That's okay. I finish my edit, and if I go to save it, watch what it asks me. It's going to ask me if I want to save those individual puzzle pieces. And of course, the answer is yes. And I go ahead and save the block, and it automatically saves that as assembly number 4. That's how you make edits to your blocks. I have one more piece to make. which is this 5 block piece right here.